Hello, lovelies. Excuse me. I had a frog in my throat. I got to stop eating frogs. Oscar's going to help with apparently help me with this tutorial. He's sitting on my lap because, of course, I wanted to do something. Alrighty. So, a few people had mentioned, no, don't eat I need that. Oh, jeez. Look at that tail. Just saying. Okay, so a few people had mentioned that they wanted to see how this works. Now, this is similar. This is the same concept as an actual Addy or a Centro. This one just is no name. Though on Amazon, it was, I don't know what if you could see that. It looks like maybe JST. I don't know what that little symbol is, but it's actually the company symbol. It doesn't say anywhere on here that I could read of a company name. And it's really, nothing on one side. This is the whole instructions for this. But it's called a braiding machine, and I believe it was like $27, and then there was like a $6 off. So for 21 bucks, this was totally worth it. Anyway, how you weed this or get it started, usually, all right, you turn and the little things go around. See the little hooks? Hope I'm in camera. And this has two black ones away from one another, which I tried to, you can go backwards too. I tried to mark them with a magic marker, which I thought was permanent, but it was not permanent, so they came right up. But I will usually tie the beginning piece under something, so I have a little bit of some pull, and then it's a matter of, I hope that this view is okay to see. You're going to go under the hook, and then over the next one, then under and over, under and over. And this is how you get it started. And I'm not pulling any tension on it. I'm just weaving it under, over, and it's sliding because it's hard plastic against the wood that I have here. On the Addy, I can go more quickly because I'm trying to hold this steady and turn at the same time. But it's really just under and over until you get back to where your last one will be an over. See how it's going over the back? If you end up going under, then you got to undo it because you missed a stitch. And then on here, it just clips into this little doodadder over here and then into that. Okay, now again, I don't want it to pull tight because you can, and this could, once you get it started, the first few stitches, your little tail can be loose. Like on the Addy, I'll go like a quarter of the way and then the tail will loosen up. All right, so I'm using, and what I use the other, for the blue and purple socks that I made is I couldn't remember the name, but it's definitely, it's from Hobby. It's a 3-weight. There's, guess I should have looked at this beforehand. I don't know. It's 100% acrylic, and Trivoli is the name of it. And there's 191 yards. All right, so I made one pair of socks that went up onto your calf out of one ball. So, and then I made the other one, which was double thick, a ball each. So you can get a pair of socks out of one of these balls at 100. So it's a 3-weight at 160 something yards. So that's good to know. All right, so this is going to be slippery now because it's on here, not on like a piece of cloth. But I just kind of make sure the yarn is loose enough and hold it here. Mostly, I'm not holding it. I'm just resting it here. Am I in camera? Yes. Only to prevent, like if it's a little knot in there or a little tiny yarn barf. And then literally it's a matter of doing this and spinning. Now sometimes it will start cranking and like getting tight. Like if I were to pull tightly on here, it would start making, see, like even though that was all loose, it's got a little snaggle in there. It would start, you could hear the gears like missing. Also too is, see how this is up on the edge? that's fine there because it's going to drop. But if you notice in here, if it's up on the edge, you want to slide that down before it comes back through. That I noticed. But you'll watch if you could see that. It'll see how it popped right down. But if it doesn't pop right down, then you want to make sure that you slide it down before it goes back through. Because I think that might be part of why it, like, one of the reasons it skips the stitches. But yeah, this is pretty much it. And I'm not really holding tension. I'm just making sure I grab it before it, you know, the knot part. Like I said, this was all loose, but you know how the yarn just kind of reties itself up into a little barf situation. Yarn barf. I love that name. Yarn barf. Alrighty, so I'm not going to bore you with... This one doesn't have a row counter, where the Addies have row counters, and I'm pretty sure the Centros have row counters. And it would be impossible to count each row as I turn it. So what I do, or what I have done, is once I get it to a certain length, I get a... Oh, I don't... Hold on, let me see if I see it right here. All right, so I don't have it right handy, but I get a measuring tape, and I measured by meters because it's just, there's more of them to see, and I'll kind of measure from the inside down to the end and get a ballpark of how many meters long the finished product is. I'm sorry that you're bouncing, but that's because we're on my bed. That's where I hang out. It's a big room, and I watch TV, and I do these things. But it's actually working really well now. I'm not skipping any stitches. That's because I'm filming. But as soon as I turn this off, there'll be missed stitches and double stitches and whatnot. But yeah, this is pretty much... This is it. And I'm going to try to go a little faster because it's actually running through here really nicely. I'm going to put the ball over here. So if once you get enough out of here, and I kind of open up the end, and once you get enough out of here, it's less pulley, if that's a word for that, but I could use it and you'll understand. But it's looking like it's coming out pretty good so far. Every once in a while, it feels like it's getting a little tighter, and sometimes you'll see the stitches are a little wider than others. I don't really know why that is, but basically, yeah, this is the knitting machine. And for 20 bucks, see, yeah, it was pulling. I probably should have used, I'm actually making these. This is an actual idea that I'm making purposefully for someone, a pair of orange socks to go with an outfit that I bought. And the person usually doesn't watch the show, or the show, I just call this a show. It actually is a show, the videos, but just in case they're watching, I don't want them to know what I'm doing here. But yes, I'm making a pair of bright orange socks. And I'm going to make a matching, if I have enough yarn, a matching orange hat, because I have bought something. And again, sorry that you're kind of bouncing around a little bit, but I should have, like what I started saying was I should have used just junk yarn to do this tutorial so I could have showed you how to tie it off. And I didn't think of that. All right, I'm going to put you on pause while I'm doing this and see if I can find my measuring tape. Since I'm making this for someone, I'm going to actually do it, and I'll just show you as I'm doing it. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I just want to show you quickly because I've done a little bit more, but see how it's, here's the table, see how it's starting to buckle? It'll do that. As long as I'm, gosh, I don't know what's in my throat. The end, here's my little tab from the beginning in my center here. The tab from the beginning, you could pull that as long as you're going to end it with that, you know, pull it tight. So I find to be the best, and then I just kind of put it back in the center. Ideally, what I may try to do is get a, you know, the stationary desk for these things, and especially for the Addie, not so much this, because this one you can lift up and hold in your hand, and I had it held in the air, and I had it going down like 4 feet, so as I was winding it. The Addie, what I like to do is get the piece of wood that is attached to it and drill a hole so that when you are doing it and it's getting long, it's gonna the item is gonna drop through the hole, and then put maybe even weights on it a little bit to have it, you know, stretch out properly. I'm losing my words again. I'm always losing my words. But yeah, then I just continue on. And like I do with the Addy, is after this hits the ground, I pick that up and I kind of give it a twist so that it stays in the center, where this one is so tiny, and if you're doing long socks, that it would be a little bit too much stuff in the middle there. But it's doing really well. I got a couple areas that seem to be uneven. That's probably because the tension is not exactly the same as I'm holding it. Because I guess I got a little bit of tension going here between this, and my finger. But I was trying to get it to go pretty quick here for you. Yeah, you want to be careful with the twisty thing, because I'm sure it's cheap and it'll snap real quick. And the Addy, what they offer, I don't have it, but what they offer is a attachment that you could stick on the part where you turn it, and attach it to a power drill and put it on low. Oh, it looks like that might be one of those messed up stitches there. And you put it on a power drill and put it on slow, and it will spin for you instead of you doing the cranking. But yeah, I don't have that yet. I know I have the drills because, of course, the man that lives here is a carpenter, so I'm sure he's got extra drills. Actually, Rusty has a bunch of drills and tools too. But I might get that. All right, I'm going to put you on pause again. Oh, I found my measuring tape, so I'm going to show you how I measure. But I'm going to put you on pause while I go a little further here. And I'm back. Okay, so I did a little more, and I showed you how I balled it up, but it's starting to get to that point. So I kind of take it, and you can roll it or twist it and stick it back in there. But you want to make sure that you're not going to catch any stitches, which I don't think you could, but just in case. But then I kind of roll it up on the top and then keep going. This is really quick. I mean, I should have probably timed this from the beginning to go, but as you can see, it goes pretty fast. I had a few like that starting to get tight right there. These couple stitches right here are tighter. It's not going as smoothly, and see how that's sticking up in there? So I'm knocking those down, but that might be one of those snaggly poo. Yeah, that's going to be a snaggly poo stitch now for some reason. I have no, oops, see how that stitch got stuck? I have no idea how and why that happens. But I'm going to measure. Yeah, it's starting to pull a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to get another. All right, so you see how that, when I pull that down, how that like doubles here and then is looser there. So that's why these, I'm sure it's me doing something wrong, because this even happens to me with the Addy. So I'm probably doing something wrong, but that's why these would only ever be things that I'm making for someone that I know. I'm not going to, definitely not sellable. All right, so I get to a certain length. If I remember correctly, I kind of twisted that up here. Hold on here. So, all right. So what I remember was the blue ones that I made, the first ones that I made, they were, I think, 32 centimeters. And I'm just going like to this area, like underneath. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'll give it kind of a little tug. And I'm off the camera from you, but from here to here, yeah, right? It's so slippery because I usually have it on the bed sheet. I'm about 40 centimeters from, you know, this area to the end. But you got to figure it's a foot, and then it's going to go up. So, yeah, let me stop it here. So I'm actually a good spot. Here's the one of the black hooks. I don't know which one because there's two. So now what we're going to do is I'm leaving that one underneath, and I'm going to just kind of pull that so it goes down. See? And keep it from there. And then I'm going to give myself, let me get that out of the way. I'm going to give myself, because I have to stitch it around. Let's get the scissors. And what did I say that was? 40, like 40 centimeters thereabouts. Cut an end, so I got a bit of a tail. This is probably longer than I need, unless I was going to crochet a stitch on the top. But this is the part that I have done an entire, 5-foot length and then missed a stitch in this process here that kind of made me a little frustrated, a lot frustrated. All right, so this one here is hooked in. And now, again, because I have to hold it and turn it, it's a little bit more complicated. And you're going to want to grab that stitch and pull it off. And when you first start doing that, then you're going to go to the next one. You're going to do this for every one. And I go from the back because this needle is a little bit fatter and it won't fit in between the two little pieces there. And you do every stitch. And you only have to be this careful for the beginning ones. Once you get it off of here a little bit, it's not as difficult. I hope I'm in the camera. I know this is probably super exciting. I wish I knew some jokes, I tell you, but I can't think of any right at the moment. We could talk about my life. That's a joke. All right. Whoop. Yeah, just try to get that one stitch. And this is where you could lose it. So you don't want to pull too hard because that'll slip off and then you'll lose that stitch. So you want to be careful to just pull that one. All right, so now, once you got a few off and it's not pulling really tight, I think I did it this way where I held it like this. And yeah, I'm holding it away from myself, so it's a little bit harder. I've not ever done this one this way, so it looks like it's harder than it is. Now I'm just going to hold that stitch and then go to the next stitch. Yeah, the struggle is real. No, the struggle is because I'm holding it farther away from myself. But basically, I know I seem very uncoordinated right now, which I am at times, but it is actually kind of fun. It doesn't look very fun. It looks kind of frustrating. But this is probably the most important part of the whole process. Processes. Oh. Now see, all right, and that one there, the stitch went up. And what I'm going to do, because it's not, all right, can you see? Let me hold this still and see if I'm in camera. That stitch is over the little two knobbies. This one is actually up underneath the hook. So I'm going to go backwards. And I'm going to slide that. That's going to go back down. See, I'm sliding that back down. And then I'll go back forward. Because that would have been hard to grab that. And this what I'm doing right now, where you just grab it and pull it on your thing and then hold it so you don't slide off. But this usually goes a lot smoother than what's happening right now because I can't really see what I'm doing, to be honest with you. There we go. Oh, come on. I was hoping I'd get this done more quickly. But then again, when you try to do things in a hurry, oh, that's the Duncan laying on. Oh, now that looks like I missed a stitch here. I don't know if you could see that. That doesn't look right. All right, so now what I'm going to do, because that does not look right, is I'm going to pull this back stitch and I'm going to go into that stitch. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm grabbing all three of those, and I'm actually even, I think I grabbed this one with that. And hopefully I didn't lose, I think I did lose a stitch. I'm just going to try to go underneath and grab a stitch because I think I just lost a stitch in that, which means I'd have to pull this all out and start from scratch. because I don't know how to catch stitches. So I just grabbed a bunch of hooks. All right, let's see if I lost a stitch, which if I did, that's fine too, because this way to show you that. So now we went through the stitches, and there's one that's potentially dropped. So we'll know that if we all of a sudden get a big runner in our stocking. And I don't have a runner, so I guess I grabbed something. Whatever I grabbed worked. Maybe not. Oh, yep. All right, so basically now from this, if you're a knitter, if you didn't, you know, or you could tie your yarn back. If you're a knitter, you can knit from your edge, or crochet is what I did. But oh, that's right. Now I just remember, because I'm not going to put this inside out, because here's your toe, because I cinched that. There's your sock. Okay, so what I'm going to end up doing is making sure, you know, pull from where you start, and then do one of these things where you're holding this tight and pulling. So you're stretching that yarn that's been weaved in. And off camera, what I'll do here is tie maybe a green color, because that would work with these. Tie another yarn to it, and then I'm going to crochet an edge on this, because you can't leave it like that. Well, you could, but it looks kind of crappy. And then for the toe part, but see, this one did pretty good. You know, there's a little stitch missing here, but not bad. And then for the toe part, this is the inside. What I'll do is, now you could take this and weave it, or just pull it tight, do a few knots and run it through and do a few knots so it stays tight. Or you can weave it so it has more of a flat toe. For this, I'm just going to pull it tight. I'm going to get my needle, and that's the start. If you're still paying attention here, and I'm even bored with it, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing the video. Sorry, I know it's hard to think and be entertaining at the same time. I know this is very not entertaining, but I'm okay. So I'm gonna, I hope I'm in there. Am I in there? Yeah. I'm gonna just kind of grab the other side of that, and then do a couple wraps tightly, hold it with my fingers, and I've made a knot. One knot is not going to do it, so I'm going to grab another little piece, and I'm just really grabbing that right in the center of that little, like, almost like magic loop. And I do two. I make sure they're tight, pull the yarns through. So that's two knots, and then I don't want it to be too knotty here, because this is going to be on your toes, but I just kind of maybe do a couple loops this way and that way, just to reinforce that. And instead of just going through one, I want to go through both sides. And I'll do one more knot, and that should be tight enough for the toes. Like I said, this is not being sold, so. And then just, grab your scissors. And yeah, so that's, and like I said, what I'll do with the other, I'm going to do the same thing with the other sock. And I think it was like around 40 centimeters long. And I'll just do a little crochet stitch around the top to give it the edge. And yeah, then I would have a pair of socks. Real easy. So I'm going to work on the other sock, and I hope this was helpful and not as boring for you as I thought it would be, or as I think it will be. Yeah, my brain is la la land today. All right, as usual. But anyway, love you guys, and I was completely off center here, but I guess that's all right too. Have a great day. Talk to you soon, guys. Love you.